Schumacher Cat 2000 build video step by step. This will be a detailed build video showing each step with some photos, and then every once in a while, if the step needs some more explanation, I'll go ahead and give that. This is the first time I've ever built a Cat 2000, so the build went very smoothly in my opinion, and I did come across a few things, and I asked some questions on the Facebook Cat 2000 group, and everyone was very helpful. Step 4, when you're putting the rear diff slash motor mount in, you have to slide this one all the way forward, so the hinge pin mount as far forward as you can to get that to sit in between. Once you do that, it fits perfectly. After step 4, the car is really starting to come together, and you can see the rear suspension. It's starting to get exciting. Step 6, the differentials. This is where I ran into my first hiccup since I've never built one of these diffs before. There was a few questions I had to ask in the Facebook group. So here you're looking at a thinner and a thicker piece for the diff, and you have to make sure the rear is going to be the thin, the front is going to be the thick, and that was a mistake I had made the first time, but then looking at it again, I saw that little note. Showing some up-close shots. Step 7, putting the differential together. It's very important. You can see there it says large washer, small washer. You're going to need a pair of calipers. I had to measure them. Now, after you've probably built a few of these, you can see it by eye, but it does help having a set just to double check since they are very close in size. Showing the up-close shot of the differentials finished. I'm going to show how one side has the adjustment screw for the ball diff and the other side does not. And then that little piece there is used to put the diff together, and it will come back in a later step, so hold on to it. This piece right here will be in a later step, so you'll only have one of them in the step that it needs it, but you'll need to use it from this earlier step for the second one. Step 8, we're going to get the belts put on the Cat. So I'm showing an up-close shot of the slipper area. That's the rear diff at the top. So it's important to get this in order correctly. So you'll see how it has some of those pins, and then there's a shallow and a deeper part for that white pulley gear. That's an important step you don't want to miss. Step 9, building the slipper assembly. So as you can see there, you'll use a small M3 with a washer, and it's going to tighten and insert the thrust bearing assembly into the slipper. So you're actually not going to use that part. It's just simply for the assembly process. Here I am showing the up-close parts And you can see the order of things. It is a little tricky to get the slipper pad to stay in there while assembling it, but it's not impossible. Go ahead and in this step, order the smaller spur gear and just install it right away for brushed motors, because you'll need that. And don't forget to buy the long pinion gear. Step 10. This step I was actually not looking forward to. From my experience building the drive shafts on some cars, they're pretty difficult. But I was pleasantly surprised the Cat 2000 drive shafts are not that bad. If you follow the example of using a vise, it works out perfectly. Be gentle with the vise, and it's pretty easy to put them together. Remember that little part I showed earlier that I said would come back? There it is. You'll have to pull it into this step because in the bag there will only be one of them. Step 10 is finished. You'll have to do this again for the front drive shafts. At this point of the build, I am pretty impressed with the fit and finish. I haven't had to really modify any parts to get them to fit together, which is pretty awesome. And it's starting to come together. There's the rear end, and it's looking good. Step 12, and we've moved to the front end of the Cat 2000. I haven't mentioned it much yet, but some of the speed parts are already available for the car. So at this point, for the servo saver, you might want to add the lock. Step 14, we're finally getting down to business with the steering in the front end. At this point, you're going to combine what you did in steps 12, 13, and 14 to complete what I'm showing here. Here you're looking at the front hinge pin assembly for the suspension, and this is very different. I've never had a car that has this kind of assembly, and I wanted to show it. I'm excited to get some of these carbon fiber parts when they do come out, like this piece here. I do like the S1 look, but sometimes there's nothing like carbon fiber. The car is really coming together at this point. We're about at the point of putting the top plate on. Around this point is a good idea to add some more of those speed secrets or option parts that Schumacher has, like the upper diffs, some carbon shock towers. One really cool thing they have in the manual is they talk about the lipo positions, and right now you can't buy some of those kits for the different positions, but they will be coming out pretty soon, or they have come out by the time you've seen this. The steering is really coming together with all the ball cups and turnbuckles. You will find out here in a second. I didn't follow step by step. I added some special shocks that I had from another car. So you won't see all of the steps for that process. The motor mount for this car is so cool with the heat sinks and how it actually mounts inside of the vehicle too. You have to slide it down into the plastic motor mount section. We're really coming down to the home stretch here. You can see the motor is finally mounted. We're getting close to adding the battery tray. Servo mount time. Make sure to grab a really short servo horn. There's not a ton of room to make it clear the top plate and also the belt. This is going to be the box stock battery mount system. I can't wait to try out the other systems that they'll eventually come out with. And there you have it, the Cat 2000 build video. This one was really good, and it's going to join my Cougar Works this year for vintage racing. I can't wait for the Vegas race this year. That is going to be insane.